Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir. I would like to, at the very outset, thank the Honorable Leader of the House, the Chief Minister, Honorable Chief Minister, for having presented this budget for the state, for the people, in sync with the spirit of democracy, as we all remain connected with the spirit of the people, by the people, for the people. We're here to respond to the hopes and aspirations of the people and how we can collectively look at collectively and effectively contributing towards achieving that goal. Now, since time is very limited, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I would like to only dwell on few points which has drawn my attention as we went through the budget presentation. Now, the whole commitment of the government to ensure improved efficiency and transparency in governance. This is the area where we have been trying to stress upon. Number of initiatives by successive governments to achieve this objective that every scarce resources that accrue to the exchequer of the government is effectively and transparently utilized for the larger good of the people and overall growth and development of the state. And this is where our commitment and our responsibility lies. Now, therefore, I would like to urge upon the government to ensure that number of initiatives which have been embarked upon collectively and have been given mandate through legislation of law are operationalized in the right perspective. Meghalaya was lauded for being one of the first states to come up with a very, I must say, effective enactment of law to ensure not just the usual auditing of the programs and policies and schemes implemented by the government through government agencies, but through the involvement of the community themselves. I would like to remind the government of one very important legislation which attracted the attention of the whole nation and national media. Meghalaya Community Participation and Public Services Social Audit Act 2017. And we did operationalize this act by constituting Meghalaya Society for Social Audit and Transparency. So these are legislations which are offshoot of a collective endeavor based on the desire of the people of this beautiful state of ours. We're very proud of our people. I have always referred to our people, the civil society organizations, as vigilant, alert, and assertive. I think we must always acknowledge their collective endeavor, who has been there reminding us to look at the areas of concern and the areas which has probably been considered as areas where we have skipped our attention to deliberate upon and attend to correcting things. Another act, Meghalaya was one amongst the few states who were prompt in enacting RTI and also the Lok Ayukta. I would like to urge upon the government to strengthen these institutions, to further ensure that these institutions stay as strong institutions to remind all of us that there is a law and we are all under scanner. It will be in sync with our collective resolve to see that we do justice to the mandate of the people. Now, last 5 years, I think we have witnessed that the Lok Ayukta that has been constituted with the mandate of the law has not been provided the kind of enough support by the government. In the process, what has happened, the mandate of the law has not been fully, optimally utilized for achieving the intent that was supposed to be as per the mandate of the law. Therefore, this collective endeavor of this August House, resulting into these few legislations, are there to create a strong deterrence for any likely or possible omission or commission in the process of delivery of the programs and in the process of implementation of the program. Why I'm saying this is because as we look at various implementation of the program, there seems to be the loss of fear for law at various levels of implementation of the program. That's why these laws which have been enacted should be a reminder of what was intended in the first instance. I hope the government will take cognizance of this concern and attend to all that is necessary to further strengthen all the measures that's already available as per various legislative exercise that we have all collectively done in the preceding years. Now, my attention is also drawn to various observations and suo motu, the judiciary taking cognizance of various irregularities suo motu. And therefore, there is a reason for us to ensure that as executives, we do not require to have this whole judiciary system to come upon us and tell us and remind us that, look, what you are doing is not enough. All that we embark upon as initiatives to deal with issues of irregularities or any instances of alleged corruptions must be prompt and seen to be effective so that we generate the right kind of perspective as to what our intentions are. I think case in example is that the Honorable High Court in fact said that even regulating the movement of the coal-laden trucks should not be done by Meghalaya Police. The order of the judiciary is available with everyone, that the CISF has to be called. See, these are matters which revolves around the narrative, the perception, and therefore there is a need for the government of the day to take cognizance of these issues and take corrective measures that from now on we look forward to see that there is no need for judiciary to intervene and remind the government and remind the executive that, look, what you are doing is not enough. You need to protect the interests of the people and you need to protect the interests of the state. Look at the report of the Justice Kataki, wherein he has said in the report that out of the 32 lakh metric ton of coal which was claimed to be in different coal-bearing districts of the state does not exist. Total amount likely shall not be more than 19 lakh metric ton. So there is a need, therefore, for the government to find out as to what has happened to the remaining balance. Has it disappeared on its own, or somebody else was responsible? Therefore, these perceptions, as we stand here before the people of the state, with all the mandate of the people, as we have always reminded ourselves, comes a sense of responsibility towards protecting the interests of the state for the larger good of the people. Now, I would like to just connect myself with one of the issues, which was one of the issues which have helped many of our people in health sector, MHIS. We are happy that this particular program initiated by our state was taken cognizance of by Government of India, and ultimately Government of India told many other states that this must be emulated by other states. And eventually, like Government of India tried to implement for the whole nation through this Ayushman Bharat. Now there is one issue. Unlike in the past, once the patient party goes with a smart card, the quantum of additional charges for any medical treatment was minimum. But today, the patient party is not in a position to anticipate as to what will be the further additional charge even after they are covered by the insurance under MHIS. It is because the department, the government has failed to actually decide upon the cost of the treatment for all different kinds of treatments. If for a cholecystectomy, this is the agreed amount. For appendicectomy, this is the agreed amount. If you're buying something, we need to know the price. The government is paying, so government should know the price. But today, it is more like a blank check. I'm sorry, if this is the way we implement these MHIs, it will become unsustainable for the state. So I would like to urge upon the government. I happen to be privileged of being part in this program, one of the co-authors. Therefore, I am urging upon the government, let us look at this, review it, and ensure that there is a course correction. Mr. Speaker, sir, another issue where I would like to dwell upon is the issue of dealing with the concerns of the farmers, farming community. I'm privileged to be a farmer myself, and I spend lots of my time connecting myself with farming activities. Now, what is happening is that there are lots of concern by people, particularly in Garo Hills. The areca plantation, the pest, and the ultimate effect on the farming community. This issue was taken up in this August House, I think probably last year. Now, what is important for us to understand is that the various planting materials which are coming from outside are not subjected to any screening, are not subjected to ensure whether they are coming as planting materials which are considered disease-free. I think we have learned our lessons through pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic. Therefore, let us understand that all the planting materials that come from outside the state border have to be subjected to quarantine. This is a SOP for any plant which is imported from outside. Similarly, today, if we are confronted by this challenge that many of our farmers are going to lose their whole plantation probably. South Garo Hills, I was told that big farms are already affected by this pest. And when we look at unregulated entry of planting materials from outside, which are not subjected to any screening, is the cause of this particular disease. Today, this disease is becoming endemic. It's going to threaten the very source of income of our farmers who have put so much effort in creating these things. So I would like to urge upon the government, please remember that the agriculture officers who were nomenclatured at agriculture inspectors, there's a meaning underlying this very nomenclature of the designation itself. Because every plant that enters our state must be subjected to screening. And unless this is done, we will have serious problem in future. So I think just this is enough for the government to understand and further elaborately deal with this issue for the very benefit of our people. Today we are happy that the income of our farmers have been amplified because of their farming activity. We must really take cognizance of the hard work that they have put. At least lots of income is being generated. Livelihood must be sustainable. So in order to make agriculture sustainable, this is one critical issue which the department must address. And Mr. Speaker, sir, another point that I would like to draw the attention of the government for is the overall intervention for market access. We have the MITP, we have the Meghalaya. I was looking at how the resources under MITP, which was approved in 2017, has been not elaborately utilized for various other components to enable the farmers to have access to market, including providing farmers to have all the necessary infrastructures in the market. Because farmers happens to be victim of many manipulators, many middlemen. Therefore, what are the intervention that is required to be there is part and parcel and integral part of this program. I, being the author of this program, I would like to urge the government, please look at all the various scopes and further amplify with multiple intervention and ensure that we optimally realize the benefit out of this huge investment that has been agreed upon by World Bank. It's not just constructing roads, but multiple interventions are there which are covered by this program. Mr. Speaker, sir, Another important part which I would like to dwell upon is the concern about the incomplete projects of various programs which are implemented under PMGSY across the state. Now we must realize that there was a time when the contractors were confronted by challenges because of militancy, because of terrorism. Therefore, many of the works were abandoned after partially completing. Now, how do we complete these programs? There are some technicalities. There are some issues of price, the cost overrun due to the time overrun. We have to take it up with the World Bank and the Ministry of Rural Development to ensure that all these programs which have been already taken up with the scarce resources that was funded through World Bank are completed in the right earnest. Otherwise, these people who are affected, these villages, remain deprived of the benefit. Similarly, for the phase 3 of the PMGSY funded by World Bank, for whatever reasons, both the state government and Government of India, the rural development have looked at only upgrading the existing roads. What happens to the roads? What happens to the villages which are required to be connected? Yes, we see that one new initiative is there, but then this World Bank funded program and the MITP must supplement each other and amplify the whole effort of the government in looking at those areas, the villages which require all-weather road to ensure that they become part of the growth story of the state. Mr. Speaker, sir, keeping in mind the paucity of time and limited time, I would like to therefore draw the attention of the government, particularly the Chief Minister, that we look at all those issues of concern, the number of issues which keep on coming again and again. The role of the opposition is to draw the attention of the government, to see that, okay, we are all reminded of where we need to probably set our priorities. Areas of concern pertaining to any irregularity which deprive the benefit that should accrue to the people must always be attended to. Now, say for example, number of implementation, whether it is under Shubhagya, whether it is under Jal Jeevan Mission, there are concerns. There are villages. There are villages who have been beneficiary of the program, but the actual benefit is not there because the program have failed to deliver what it desired, what it intended for. Jal Jeevan Mission, all the pipelines are laid, but there is no water. That's the reality. We have taken up programs like putting the cart before the horse. Without looking at the source, we had just, laid up pipelines. And there's another serious lacuna here. People themselves were supposed to be party in drawing up the program under Jal Jeevan Mission. But the kind of engagement with the people that was required was never done. People were always told that, okay, you have to sign in this paper, and then this is what you will get. So these are few instances which the government should relook and see that wherever the investment have taken place, they yield the kind of service that the project was intended for. So Jal Jeevan Mission, Subhagya, the kind of transformers which are installed, which just get damaged in 1 month, in 2 months, all these things are areas of concern. Let us all look at these areas which must be our priority, keeping in mind that the digitalization of education and other things require constant power supply. How agonizing it will be for the children when they are victim of dislocation of power supply. Innumerable villages have been victim of delay in restoration of power supply in the event of any disruption in power supply due to damage to transformer. What do we do? What do we do? Yes, we have to do. So let the government take cognizance of this problem. This has become a problem in perpetuity. Let it not remain a problem anymore. Let there be a system put in place where we are seen that even in a war-torn nation like Ukraine, restoration of power in 48 hours. And here, in a peaceful state, thanks to the people of the state, they collectively engaged, participated, including the churches and civil society organizations, to restore peace. Today, this is a peaceful state. Yes, a peaceful state. Let us leverage upon this peaceful environment. Unlike what was seen between 2008 and 2018. Today, 2018 till now, we are blessed with an environment which is conducive for further accelerating the development of the developmental needs of the people. We have seen how the whole available sources of funding were explored by successive government, including our government, and how externally aided project became something as a powerful source of fund. Today, instead of 2,000 plus, we have 10,000 crore. So money is there. Let us utilize them in the right perspective, in a manner that every single paisa is intended to be spent. So with these few words, Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to commend again the government and the Chief Minister for this budget. We look forward for effective implementation of the program. And when we look at various number of interventions, let us not forget the areas of concern which revolves around all of us. The need to look at the disparity of development, the developmental gaps. There are developmental gaps. There are districts which will require more infusion of fund. We have tried, but we should further try. Let us look at all those areas of concern where disparities and developmental gaps should be looked at. West Khas Hills, Southwest Khas Hills, South Garo Hills, East Garo Hills, North Garo Hills, part of West Garo Hills, part of Ribhoi district. Look at Mauhati and other areas. So many areas are there where there is a disparity of developmental investment. I think we will look forward to see that we try to embark upon initiatives which will take care of all those developmental disparities. And please, before I conclude, I would like to ask the government to immediately take steps to fill up all the vacant posts. The young men and women who have applied for police force from across the state, let us not keep them in waiting and allow them to get frustrated, and ultimately their frustration will get to anger. I think we need to be looking at all these concerns, including filling up of the school, the vacancies in the schools, primary schools. I have number of primary schools where teachers have not been appointed and therefore the parents are not able to send their children to school. Please provide an alternative access to these children who are not able to go to the school because of non-appointment of teacher. Today that start question. The Honorable Minister for Education, how many schools in his own constituencies are closed because of non-appointment of teachers? I think these areas should be attended to immediately. If the teachers' appointment will require further time, an alternative arrangement must be made to ensure that these tiny tots, these little children, are not deprived of their access to quality education. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.